What to think of it? What up? What up? What up? Live and in effect. We in the house. What's going on tonight? What's up? What's up, Ian? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. What's up, Mark? How you doing, brother? What's going on? You need my help with what? Andrew, what's up, brother? Damari, what's up, brother? How you doing? That's good news. That's real good news, Mark. No doubt. Running good, brother. Running good. Steve Nash would absolutely be a top 10 point guard today. No question about it. No doubt about it. He would not a top. He may even be a top 10 player today. In today's game, yeah. Just off his efficiency alone, he would absolutely be that. No question, man. No doubt. Liam, what's up, brother? Rob, what up, brother? What up, Darrell? How you doing? What would Clyde Drexler have to do with the Bulls not winning it? Jordan outplayed him in 92. What difference would that make if he played in 94 or 95? Jordan was better than him anyway. So, all right. Sorry to hear about your pops. Big King, listen, man. If I said something like that, I'm biased. I'm an old head. I'm on some nonsense. I'm out of touch with the game. If I say something like that, absolutely. No doubt. No, I don't think Trae Young has a chance at making first team All NBA. And the reason why is because Atlanta isn't very good. That's the problem. Atlanta, in order for that to be a realistic opportunity for Trae Young, Atlanta got to get better. That's the only way that that's going to work. The reason why people don't talk about the people from these other teams like Oklahoma City, the reason why people don't talk about Minnesota, outside of Minnesota, why people don't talk about Minnesota, the reason why people don't talk about Oklahoma City or people outside of Atlanta don't talk about Atlanta, because they're not very good. That's the problem. There's a reason why we talked about Oklahoma City 10 years ago. And why did we talk about Oklahoma City 10 years ago? If you remember, why were we talking about Oklahoma City 10 years ago? So I'm clear. Why was Oklahoma City the topic of conversation 10 years ago? No, I get that, Big King, no doubt. But this is what I'm wondering. Why do we not talk about Oklahoma City? Why were we talking about Oklahoma City 10 years ago? What was the reason for us talking about them? One more time, King. They had a good team, yo. And KD and Russ was on that team. And Ibaka was on that team. And James Harden was on that team. They had a good team. Nobody cares outside of Minnesota what Cat is doing, what Ant Edwards is doing. Nobody cares what Shea Alexander is doing. Nobody cares outside of Oklahoma City. And the reason why they don't care is because they're not very good. That's why, which is kind of corny because, you're missing out on a really good talent. I think Trae Young is one of the best point guards in the game. I don't think he's a good point guard. I think he's one of the best point guards in the game. He's actually having a better year this year than he did last year. 26-9, shooting almost 40% on the long ball. The problem with Atlanta is they are not a very good defensive team. They rank 25th in the league in opponents' assists. That means that they aren't playing defense. That means that we basically pass the ball around and we can get whatever we want against them. Whatever we want against them. They're in the bottom. They're actually a really good rebounding team. They are. They don't guard the three that well. That's one of the main reasons why they aren't very good. Offensively, they got 7 guys averaging in double figures. So that looks great on the surface. On the other side of the ball, that's where the problem is. And that's why they aren't very good. And that's why people aren't talking about them outside of Atlanta as much as they should be. So I don't think to be quite honest with you, I don't think Atlanta is missing anything. What I do think that they're missing, I don't think that they're missing anything in terms of personnel. They got to play better defense. You got arguably the best rebounder in the game in Capella. You got one of the better, you got one of the better dirty work power forwards in the game in John Collins. You obviously can score the basketball because you got 7 guys scoring in double figures. The problem that we're having is that on the defensive end, that's where the effort lags. You're one of the better rebounding teams in the game. You're not one of the better overall defensive teams in the game. And that's effort. And there is your problem. I don't think that it's plugging in another star. That's not the problem because they got to the Eastern Conference Finals last year with Trae Young as their guy. So it's obvious that they're not that far away. I think they're close. I do. Do we need another level all-star? I mean, I don't know how true that is. You think Mikal Bridges is the best defensive player in the league right now? Do you think he's better than Caruso? Would you take Mikal Bridges over Caruso right now? What else is there? Jason Tatum is bigger. He's more versatile. Derrick Rose is a better athlete, I think. But Jason Tatum at 6'8", close to 6'9", I think he's more versatile in the mid-range. I think he's got a better mid-range game offensively. He's a better rebounder. I think he's a better defender than Derrick Rose. I think he's a better overall player than Derrick Rose. Even with Derrick Rose, the athlete that he was at this stage, I think he's a better player. I did not call Caruso a softie. I said, whoa. Let me make sure I read that correctly. I thought you were talking to me. I did not call Caruso soft. I thought you were talking about that. That's why I had to go back and make sure that I wasn't on some nonsense here. But Jason Tatum as a scorer, once he gets going, I've said this in the past, and I look at Jason Tatum's ability to score in the mid-range, his ability to shoot the long ball, his ability to get to the basket, his ability to get to the stripe. I think that him as a defender, his ability to defend multiple positions, his ability to defend on the perimeter, bigger guys at 6'7", 6'8". I don't think Derrick Rose can do that. His ability to rebound, as the athlete that Derrick Rose is, I think that Jason Tatum, that's why I'm making a point of him being bigger and more versatile. That's why I think that Jason Tatum is a better player than Derrick Rose. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to just say bigger and more versatile. Just because you're bigger and more versatile does not make you a better player. If you're bigger and more versatile and you do the same thing that these other guys do that are smaller than you, that doesn't mean that you're better. If you do these things better than them, then that's different. That's completely different. Absolutely, that's different. Well, the reason why that offense in Chicago was more fluent is because Derrick Rose doesn't have anybody stepping on his toes. He is the bucket guy on the perimeter. We have an issue with Tatum and Brown where those guys are running into each other. There's a reason why when Brown is out the lineup, what you see Jason Tatum doing and how much better he's playing when Jaylen Brown is out the lineup. That's the problem that they're having. And the longer the season goes on and they don't deal with it, the more it's going to be a problem. If Jason Tatum is your guy, make him your guy. I don't think he breaks the record Saturday. I thought that he was going to do. I thought that he was going to hit more threes last night. I don't think that he's hitting 10 threes against Philadelphia. No, I do not think that. No way. I do not think that. Darrell, if Philly knows what's best for them, which they do, this Ben Simmons thing is going to be over soon. This thing is going to be over really soon. No doubt about it. I think that they're still going to make the playoffs with Joel Embiid, and I think that they're going to make a trade for Ben Simmons, and I think they're going to get something back really good for him. I don't think that they're just going to hand him over for a bucket of extra crispy and a six-pack. Absolutely not. They're going to get something really good for him. I don't think that they're going to get equal value because in order to get a wing defender or a lead guard defender like him, you got to ask Milwaukee for Drew Holiday. And Milwaukee ain't giving up Drew Holiday for him. No way are they doing that. No. So they're going to have to make that up in other areas. But I think that they're going to get something back for him. The Ben Simmons thing, it's time to dead that. No doubt. No doubt about that. So Kyrie Irving's best season, I thought that his best season was the year he got James in the 14-15 season. The year he got James, that was the most those are the most games he played up until that point. That was the healthiest that he'd been. And that was at that point, that was the sharpest that he'd been up until the finals when he cracked his knee. But up until that point, that was the sharpest that he'd been. No doubt about it. So no, I do not think that the Hornets can make it out of the first round if they don't have any injuries, because I'm looking at this Hornets team. That means that, what are they, fifth right now in the Eastern Conference? Fifth or sixth? They're going to either have to play Milwaukee, Chicago, or Brooklyn in the first round. I don't think that they're better than any of those teams, even if they're healthy. I don't think they're better than any of those teams. And at best, they get a 5 seed. At best, they get a 5 seed. That means that they're going to have to play Miami in the first round. I don't think that they can beat Miami. No, I don't think that. No, sir, would I rate Anthony Davis over Charles Barkley? No, sir, I would not. Did you know that Beal and Harden's highest scoring seasons were with Westbrook? No, they were not. Because James Harden didn't have Westbrook when he averaged 36 a game. So no, he were not. That's not true, sir. OG, name some takes. No. Name some takes. That John Stockton is not a top 5 point guard. You can't change my mind on that. You cannot. The game of basketball has not evolved that much that the point guard, I should not expect him to do at an elite level what point guards do. I can appreciate that the game has changed, but the game has not changed that much that I should not expect you as a point guard to do point guard things at an elite level. You can't change my mind on that. No. Charles Barkley's nickname was the mound round of rebound, the Chuck Wagon. We that's what we called him. Other teaks. When did he average 37 with Westbrook? So I'm clear, Ray. So I'm crystal clear. Because I remember him averaging 36. I think that was the 17-18 season. I think he did that. Mm-hmm. I think that was the 17-18 season that he did that. And then he averaged 34 game the next year, I think the 18-19 season. Convince me. You know what? Let's pump the brakes for a second. Convince me that Steph Curry is a point guard. Go. Convince me that Steph Curry is a point guard. That's what I'd like to do right now. We just started this stream, and all I keep hearing in terms of you guys, Steph Curry is a top 2 point guard. Convince me that Steph Curry is a point guard. He takes the ball up the floor and is top 2 on his team in assists. Top 2 on his team in assists. Actually, that would be Draymond Green who does that, but keep going. Okay, answer one simple question. What position? He's listed as a point guard. Which point guard have you ever heard that's listed as a point guard that doesn't lead the team in assists? So Russ was not on the Houston Rockets in 2019. No, Russ was not. What's up, Sauce? How you doing, brother? Why you don't stop there? Don't stop there, Keyshawn. Don't stop there. Do not stop there. Keep going. And that's just today's point guard, right? That's just today's point guard. Don't stop there. Keep going. When you talk about a guy being second on the team in assists as the lead guard. No, he's not a center. He's not a point guard neither. I don't know what. Let me rebut that. Steady. When you think about Steph Curry, what's the first thing when you talk about Steph Curry? What's the first thing that you bring up? Around the NBA. What's up, brother? One more time, Ozzy, for the people in the cheap seats. Shooting. When you think about Magic, what's the first thing you think about when you think about Magic? Passing. What else? When you passing the basketball, when you think about Stockton, what's the first thing you think about? Playmaking ability. Okay. Playmaking point guard. Okay. When you think about Stockton, what's the first thing you think about when you think about those guys? When you think about that guy? Steals. Distributing. When you think about Isaiah, what's the first thing you think about when you think about him? How about Chris Paul? What's the first thing you think about when you think about Chris Paul? What's on your mind when you think about Chris Paul? Leader. Leader. Floor leader. Um, and these and when you think about Gary Payton, what's the first thing you think about when you think about Gary Payton? Defense, clamps, locking ass, right? What else do you think about when you think about Gary Payton? What else does he do? Footwork. What about Westbrook? When you think about Westbrook, what do you think about when you think about Westbrook? What comes to mind when Russell Westbrook is brought up? Nigel, there's no way that you think empty stats. And you know why you and hold on for a second, guys. Let me address this. There's no way you think empty stats. And let me tell you why there's no way you think that, because that sounds like that's something that's personal. The reason why I'm saying that is because Russell Westbrook has been in the league for this is year what, 14? We in now? We in year 14. He only missed the playoffs one time in his career. So what are you talking about when you talk about empty stats? Because everything that he does translates to winning. Now, he might not win the championship, but he missed the playoffs one time. So what are you talking about when you talk about empty stats? Explain that one to me so I'm clear. The point that I'm trying to make, Steady, is the point that I'm trying to make is when you think about a point guard. When I think about a point guard, the first thing that does not come to mind when I think about Damian Lillard, the first thing that does not come to mind is his shooting ability. That does not come to mind. The first thing that I think about when I think about Damian Lillard, floor leader. He's their leader. Give me the ball. I'm running the offense. I'm the guy. When I think about Steph Curry, the first thing I think about, long ball shooter. That's the first thing I think about. I don't think about anything else. I don't think about his ability to pass. I don't think about what he is in transition. The first thing I think about is long ball shooter. That's not a point guard. That's a guy who's listed at the point guard. That's not a point guard. Steph is an off the ball player. So Ashton, if Steph is an off the ball player, what does that make him then? We straight, Nigel. We good. OG, I can say the same thing about centers. It used to be rim protecting, but that's not the case for guys like Embiid and Joker. Yes, it is. First and foremost, Joker averaged almost 14 boards a game, and he leads the team. He's tied with Aaron Gordon on the team in blocks. Joel Embiid last season, he was 30 and 11, and he led the team in blocks. The defensive player of the year last year was who? Make sure that you straighten me out. Who was the defensive player of the year last year? And Ian, since we on that subject, what position does Rudy play? And what is Rudy particularly known for? He's the big fella. And what is he known for particularly? Rim protection. So, which goes back to my point, Nigel. Which goes back to my point. When I think about a point guard, when I think about a shooting guard, when I think about a small forward, when I think about a power forward, I understand the game has changed. When I think about a five-man, not only do I understand that the game has changed, I like the way the game is going. However, as a point guard, as the lead guard, as the primary ball handler, your job as the point guard, am I at a line to expect you to do things that elite point guards did? Am I at a line if you play the five, even though the five-man has now become more versatile? Am I at a line to expect you, excuse me, am I at a line to expect you as the five to not rim protect anymore at an elite level, to not rebound at an elite level? Am I at a line to think that you can't do that anymore because the game is changing? Thank you. Sorry. I just want to make sure that I'm not at a line, because if I'm at a line, straighten me out. Because like I said, I know that the game is changing. I know the game is way different today than what it was 35 years ago, where the big fella came and parked on the box and asked for the basketball. The game ain't like that no more. And I think that it's dope that the game is moving in that direction. However, there are some things that still are required to be an elite big man. And Jokic has shown that. We're talking about a dude averaging almost 14 boards a game. Almost 14 boards a game he averaging. I think Joel Embiid is averaging 12 and a block as a big time. Joel Embiid is a big time rim protector. So when I think about Steph Curry, and I've mentioned this in the past to you guys, when I think about Steph Curry, right? When I think about Steph Curry, I put him in the same category with Allen Iverson in the aspect that he's not the traditional point guard like Stockton, like Magic, like Chris Paul, like Rondo. He's not that guy. But he also ain't the traditional two guard neither, like Bryant, like Jordan, like Rip Hamilton, like Dwayne Wade. He ain't that guy neither. He's something completely different that I can't even put into a box. What's up, Ray? How you doing, brother? Put it this way. I think Curry is a top 50. Let's take positions off the table. I think Curry is a top 15 player all time today. I do. Today, I think he's a top 15 player all time. Yes, sir. Absolutely, I do. Gary Payton was an absolute point guard. Damian Lillard, floor leader. Tony Parker. Now, Tony Parker is another one that I got a problem with. I do. Tony Parker is another one that I have a problem with because I'm thinking about Tony. Tony Parker I think he averaged 7 assists one time. He never averaged more than 6 assists. I think he averaged 7 assists one time. He averaged 6 assists for his career. Now I'm thinking about a guy in Westbrook who played 8 years with Kevin Durant and managed to average 8 assists with Kevin Durant. Like, what do you think Chris Paul would average running around with Tim Duncan in terms of being a playmaker? Tony Parker led the league in points in the paint. He didn't lead point guards in points in the paint. He led the league in points in the paint. Mm-hmm. It's not just passing. Let's take passing off the table. Well, passing is a part of it, but how about the stuff that point guards do? I run the unit, right? Like, for example, Chris Paul. I'm the leader of this unit. I run the unit. When you think, who do you think is the leader of that unit? I ain't talking about, I ain't talking about who the best player is on that unit, because we all know who the best player is on that unit. Who is the leader on that Golden State unit? One more time, Ozzy. I think it's Draymond. I think he runs that unit. Absolutely, I think he does. I think it's Dre. I think he runs that unit. So when I think about a point guard, I'm thinking about a guy who runs our unit. Take it light, Liam. Good to talk to you, brother. No doubt. No doubt. I'm interested to hear this. So Keyshawn can convince me that Curry is a top 12 player all time. Go. Big Pain, what's going on, brother? Good to meet you. You think if the Bulls were in this era, they would move Rodman to the 5, Kukoc to the 4, and start Kerr or Pippen? I don't see why their lineup would change. And I think I know where you're going with this. I think you're going to the aspect that guys like Luke Longley or Bill Cartwright, they would become obsolete. So the Euro, we could move Kukoc to the 5 because he's going to have to guard guys that do similar things that he does. And we'll start Tony Kukoc. We'll start Steve Kerr. I don't know if we start in Kerr because I think that Ron Harper and Jordan were perfect for the backcourt. And I think that Steve Kerr was great for that second unit. But maybe you'd get a more versatile 4 or maybe another versatile big man and take Luke Longley off the unit. Mm-hmm. I don't think Draymond is a power forward. I think he's more of a point forward. That's what I think he is. Mm-hmm. Like what Scottie Pippen was. That's what I think he is to his unit. No, he's not scared. He went to go do some homework. That's where he at with it. My top 12 players of all time? James, Jordan, Jabbar, Chamberlain, Russell, Magic, Bird, Duncan, Olajuwon, Diesel, Bryant, Jerry West. Right now, King 90. Not he didn't step out the room. He didn't do any of those things. Right now, he's on right now while we speak, he is. Mm-hmm. 13, I have Oscar Robertson. 14, I have Steph Curry. And 15, I got Moses Malone. Mm-hmm. I did see it, Cole. I did see it, and I'm going to get to it. Thank you very much, my man. I really appreciate that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Big King. I just said Jerry West. Yes, sir. I just said Jerry West. Why I don't understand why we talk about Steph Curry and why we talk about Curry is 30 times better than Jerry West. Wow. Well, you said you're going to convince me of this instead of it just being this, instead of it being this back and forth. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough with Derrick Rose in New York because they're going the other way. They are. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go with this nonsense. Pipe that. And we could say the same thing about Steph Curry. We could say the exact same thing about Steph Curry. Russell Westbrook made first team All NBA and won the league MVP. Damian Lillard was first team All NBA. So we could say the same thing about Steph Curry. So actually, Jerry West was finals MVP in the 68-69 season, sir. Just so you know. And they lost that series, by the way. And he won the finals MVP. And they lost that series. So that's not true. He does have an MVP. In fact, he's the first guy to win finals MVP on a losing team. We got Kevin Garnett at 11 all time. I got Kevin Garnett. I got him behind Kevin Durant. I got him at 17 or 18. I think I got Kevin Garnett as a top 20 player all time for me. No doubt about that. I got KD as a top 20 player. I think I got him at 17. Right ahead of KG. Mm-hmm. Yeah, steady. Mm-hmm. I got some people that have Wilt at number 9. You still haven't. You said I can convince you that Steph Curry is a top 12 player. You're not doing any convincing, my good man. You're not doing any. You're doing no convincing for me. None. Too much sauce. Too much sauce. My favorite era was the 90s and the 2000s. I really thought that era, right before the 2000s, my favorite era was. I dug the 80s because I was still a teenager and I was learning the game. But in the 90s, I was in college and I started to understand the game more. And in the 2000s, I understood the game even more. That span from 1990 to 2010, that 20-year span, that was the best time for me. No question about it. Darrell, that's tough, man. I keep getting that question and I can't answer it because I can't go wrong. I think Dennis was a better perimeter defender than Ben Wallace. I can't say that Ben Wallace was meatier and beefier, but I mean, Dennis guarded the 5, Dennis guarded the 4, Dennis guarded the 3, Dennis guarded the 2, and Dennis guarded the 1. Man, I don't know if Ben could guard the 1. I don't know if Ben could guard the 2. Jerry West averaged 27 a game for his career. That's third all time in NBA history. He averaged 29 a game for his career in the playoffs. I think that's third all time behind Jordan and James. So Bob Cousy was flash, yo. He was absolutely flash. You know, I think that the athlete from the late 50s and 60s has evolved today. Just like, but I see Bill Russell, who was, you know, he was invited to be on the Olympic team in 56. So it's not like it's a situation where he couldn't compete today athletically. He could absolutely do that. But, you know, Bob Cousy was flash. And once they got Russ, now they got a rim protector, and they got a rebounder. Now they got a guy we can go to in transition. And that sped their game up even more. That's why they started smoking everybody. You think I got KD too high? I have him ahead of Havlicek, which I was battling. I was going back and forth with that. I have him ahead of Garnett, and I have him ahead of Havlicek, which was tough for me. But I was going off. I was going off what I've seen from Kevin Durant as a scorer. I haven't seen anybody like that in my lifetime. At 6'10", who can handle a basketball like that. Now, when we talk about an overall player, an all-around player, that's completely different. But somebody with his offensive package, in terms of his ability to score, I haven't seen anything like that in my lifetime at that size. That's pretty remarkable. Hey, Jillian, how are you, dear? You good? We're talking about top 20 players and guys who I had in my top 20 and getting convinced that Steph Curry is better than Jerry West in terms of a talent standpoint. And what I need to make clear, what I need to make clear is with Steph Curry is a generational talent in this era. Absolutely, he is a generational talent. And when I think about a guy in Jerry West, when I think about a guy in Steph Curry who enhanced the position of guard to stretch the defense and to make it almost impossible to handle him and just have to eat the production that he gives, that's pretty difficult to deny. You can't deny that with that guy. You cannot. I mean, he averages 24 games for his career. I mean, that's a big deal. Silos, what's up, brother? I got Oscar Robertson at 13 on my all-time list. I do. I do have Steph Curry, and I have him at 13. I'm sorry, I have him at 14. Uh-huh. Top 5 coaches in the NBA of all time. I dug Phil Jackson. Phil, Pop, Casey Jones, Pat Riley. That's a good one. I gotta think about that fifth one. Yeah, think about that fifth one. Casey Jones is in there, absolutely. Casey Jones, he was the head coach of the Celtics in the '80s when they were winning those NBA championships. Yeah, that was Casey Jones. He always does that, Julian. What he does is convince me of this, convince me of that. He's the guy who antagonizes you, and he's looking for you to swing at him. So we're going off rings. Okay, so the rings are the most important thing then. All right, so let's see here. if we're going off rings, is Steph Curry better than Bob Cousy? We already know Steph Curry ain't better than Magic. We already know that for a fact. So that's a good one, man. That's a really good one. Steve Kerr could be a top five. Steve Kerr could be a top 5 coach all time, no doubt. I can get with that logic. He's got more championships. Never been. And by the way, Steph Curry, and for the record, just so you know, Keyshawn, Steph Curry was never the best player in the championship series. Not one time. But he's got more rings. So, all right. You want to go with that story? Okay. No problem. I mean, Jerry West was the best player in the championship series. So, we could make that argument. No, he wasn't. No, he was not. Because he couldn't. Well, if he was, then. I've been off lately. I just don't see Steph Curry the way you guys see him. I see Steph Curry as I see him as a player in this generation who is going to go down in history as one of the most lethal shooters, but one of the most complex guys to understand. So he's just so much different than anybody that I've seen. He just is. Who do you think was better with him in 2015? Just curious. To be honest with you, Jillian, and I catch a lot of heat for this, I think him getting Kevin Durant, I think that hampered him because he had to take a back seat to Kevin Durant. Now, remember, we're talking about a league MVP whose team had already won the NBA championship. And to get Kevin Durant on that unit, he had to take a back seat to Kevin Durant. And this is in year 7. So this is in the middle of his prime. Now, I think Kevin Durant made that team better. But when I think about what that did to and for Steph Curry in terms of his career, I think that hampered him. No, I don't think he was the best player in that championship series, Jillian. Number one, I thought James was the best player in that championship series. That's first of all. That's number one. And number two, Iguodala, the job that he did and how important he was for what they were doing, that sounded like that was the difference in the series. So when I think about great players in a series, when I think about the best player in the series, let's see here. In the 1920 NBA Finals against the Miami Heat, who was the best player in that series? I'm not asking you about, let's take Finals MVPs off the floor, right? Take Finals MVPs off the floor. In the 2019-2020 series, when the Lakers beat Miami, who was the best player in that series? James was the best player. Last season, in the 2021 NBA Finals, who was the best player in that series? Last season, I'm talking about, between Phoenix and Milwaukee. Forget Finals MVP. Who was the best player in that series? You think Giannis was the best player in that series? In the 18-19 Finals, between the Golden State Warriors and the Toronto Raptors, who was the best player in that series? Take Finals MVPs out of the equation. Who was the best player in that series? Leonard. Okay. So when I think about, I'm not just going off of Finals MVPs. I'm not just going off of that. I'm thinking about who is the best player in this series. And I have yet to see Steph Curry. in the 5 trips that he's been to the NBA Finals, 5 of them, for him to be the best player in the series. I have not. When James won the Finals MVP in not even in 20 in the 19, because you can make the argument that Anthony Davis was the best player in that series, but in the 2010 Finals, Dirk Nowitzki was the best player in that championship series. I ain't even going off the fact that he was Finals MVP. He was the best player in that series, no doubt about it. The next year, when Miami played the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Finals, Kevin Durant was scoring the way he was scoring. Russell Westbrook was new. LeBron James was the best player in that series, and it wasn't a question. So you could definitely make that argument, Stacks. You can definitely make that argument, Stacks, that I didn't think it was a wash with James. I didn't think it was a wash with James being the best player in that series. I didn't think so. I did not. When I was coming up, and you guys know I hate to say that, in my time, excuse me, in my day, I hate talking like that. But when I think about in the 1991-1992 NBA Finals between the Chicago Bulls and the Portland Trail Blazers, Michael Jordan was the best player in that series. It wasn't just because he won Finals MVP. He was the best player in that series. In the 1991 Finals, when the Lakers played against the Bulls in the Finals, Michael Jordan was the best player in that series. In the 94 Finals, when the Rockets played the Knicks, take the Finals MVP off the table. Hakeem Olajuwon was the best player in that series. So no, Curry wasn't the best player in that series. LeBron James averaged almost 40 and a triple-double. So no, Steph Curry wasn't. He was just on the better team. So let's dead that right there. No, he was not. If I'm not mistaken, James averaged almost 40 a game in that series. And he averaged almost a triple-double. Not only did he almost average a triple-double, he led every team. He led both teams. He didn't just lead his team. He led everybody in the entire finals in points, rebounds, blocks, assists, and steals. Nobody has done that. He was the best player in that championship series. In fact, they were talking about giving him the Finals MVP when they lost, and he wasn't feeling that at all. He was not. Well, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about being an all-time great, my man. So, like when we talk about Steph Curry being an all-time great, like I said, in the '87 Finals, Magic was the best player in that series, even though Jabbar was awesome. Magic was the best player in that series. Nah, Jillian, I don't really get starstruck too much because at the end of the day, I found out because I've met some pretty cool people in my lifetime. So I don't really get starstruck. But I met Joe Montana in 2004, and on the outside, I was like this. Nice to meet you, Joe. And as you know, I'm a 49er fan. But on the outside, I was like this. Nice to meet you, Joe. On the inside, I was about to do 20,000 backflips. I couldn't believe what was going on. This is Joe Cool standing in front of me right now. Are you kidding me right now? No way this is going on. Joe Cool is standing in front of me, but on the surface, I was like, "How you doing, Joe? Nice to meet you, sir." There's no way on the inside I wasn't about to flip out, but I had to keep my cool though. Mm-hmm. Stockton's my guy, Big King. I love CP3, but Stockton is my guy. He is, no doubt. Brian, I do not think the Joker is the best player in the league. I think that honor goes to Giannis. Even though Giannis was whack last night, he did look whack last night, and Joker went off. What was Joker, like 39 and 11 last night? But I think that honor goes to Giannis. I think he's the best player in the game today, no doubt. Now I can see now I can absolutely see the logic with Joker. I mean, we're talking about 26 and almost 14, and what he's doing for that Denver unit. I think that I think without him, I think they go to the bottom of the Western Conference, straight to the bottom of the Western Conference. Now, Oz, I think that there's a difference. What did I say? 39, 11, and 11. Hold on, let me make sure I don't leave that part out. I'm sorry, and 11. So now, Ozzy, understand the difference between being the best player and playing the best. There's a difference. That's not the same thing. You could be the best player. Being the best player and playing the best are two different things. And when I look at Steph Curry, I think Steph Curry at a specific juncture, he was playing the best. I mean, Steph Curry, his ability to shoot the basketball, his ability to get out in transition. I think that Steph Curry was playing the best at some point. This is by the way, one of his lowest field goal percentage. Not one of his lowest. I'm sorry. This is one season where he's not very high in terms of field goal percentage. His field goal percentage is down. His long ball percentage is where it normally is, but his overall field goal percentage is down. A lot of that I think is because he's pressing. I do. I think he wants to get this record out the way. I do. I do think that. No, I'm not. That's not the same thing, Mike. Mikhail, that's not the same thing. Playing the best, because you're playing the best, I don't want to discount that. No. I don't want to discount that at all, because you could be playing the best and be the best player also. I just don't think that's the case right now. You can not only the best running back in the league, you can make the argument that he's the league MVP. And the reason why we wasn't talking about him because he just so happened to have a potential 2,000-yard rusher in his division, so he kind of got overlooked. I tell you what, Jillian, it doesn't look like it's somebody that's clear cut. If you'd have asked me a couple of weeks ago, I thought that Derrick Henry was the guy to win it. And when he went down, I think that it went back up in the air. I think that Brady is looking like he's going to be the league MVP, and Aaron Rodgers has got a shot. I also think that Kyler Murray, if he can come back in these last stretch of games, if he could come back and be 80% of what he was before he got hurt, I think that he's absolutely in that conversation. In fact, I'm pretty sure I had this conversation with you guys before the season started, that I thought Kyler Murray was my dark horse league MVP. Mm-hmm. No, not Lamar, man. As much as I want to go that way with Lamar, I want you to understand that I think that I think his QBR against the blitz is in the single digits. He's trash against the blitz. I'm not saying that he's not good against the blitz. He's awful against the blitz. So Stockton is either underrated or overrated. Easy, Sarim. I don't know if they're the best team. They just got the best win streak. I mean, they still are. If I last checked, I mean, the Rockets still are 8 games under 500. I mean, let's make sure we clear on that. I mean, they have won 7 straight, and can we not leave out that KD didn't play last night neither? So that's important to mention. It's not like it happens. I know it sounds nuts, man. They rolling right now. They are rolling. Absolutely. I can appreciate it, no doubt. I can absolutely appreciate it. Well, I don't know, King. When you think about what I'm going to get to the Super Bowl thing in a second, but I don't know, King. What do you when you think about what Harden's been this season? Are you looking at 18, 19 James Harden? Are you looking at 19, 20 James Harden? Because that dude ain't around no more. James Harden is basically playing himself into shape. That's who he is right now. He's basically playing himself into shape. And I'm going to get to you in a second, Steady. I did see that. So he's basically playing himself into shape, which is what he's done the majority of his career, where he's played himself into shape when he was younger. Only problem is with the rules change and having to play through contact, and now him being older, I think that's catching up to him. And he's not what he used to be. And he is slowing down, even though he still is in his prime. This isn't a James Harden that we're not used to seeing, who comes to camp out of shape and he'll play himself into shape. This is not something that's new. Now, as far as Super Bowl predictions, I mean, we only got 5 weeks left. When I think about the NFC, I think that the road to the bowl game goes through Tampa. As long as Tom Brady is around, and I may be a little bit biased, but for me, as long as Tom Brady is around, you not getting me to put no money on nobody else. I'm sorry. As long as Brady is around, I'm not putting money on nobody else. I can't do it because he's shown me too many times, if given the opportunity, we'll get it done. He's shown me that. Now, I think the AFC is wide open. And we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago where I said to you guys, I'm not sure if Kansas City is going to make the playoffs this year. Lo and behold, they're right back in first place, right? Not only are they right back in first place, they look like they're going to challenge to get back to the Super Bowl. But I'll tell you what, that team up in New England look like they serious. They look like they are dead serious. And I can't say with 100% certainty that I can bet against them right now. When I think about that division that the Chiefs are in, just so you know, Justin Herbert is 3-0 against Patrick Mahomes. In his career, he's 3-0 against him. So, and Patrick Mahomes and that Kansas City Chiefs team hadn't exactly been lighting it up lately. Their defense has gotten better, but they haven't been lighting it up lately. No, they have not, sir. So, you wrong on the Patriots, my man. You are absolutely wrong on the Patriots. You dead wrong on them Patriots. No question about it. We're talking about a team that was 2-4, and the way that they're running off games the way they are, and I think that's attributed to their defense and how much better their defense is played, and their run game. They got a top 6 run game. Top 10 players under 24 in the NBA. Top 10 players under 24. I think Luka's at the top of that list. Tatum, Mitchell, Ja. I want to put Zion in there, but I can't because he hasn't been performing. Trae Young is in that list. Those are the 5 guys that I can think about off the top of my head. under 24. So when I think about the other young guys, I think Anthony Edwards is one of those guys. I think Shea is one of those guys under 24. Is that 7? Let's see. I think Anthony Edwards is one of those guys. I think Shea is one of those guys. I think Bam is one of those guys also. Yeah. Bam. Devin Booker is not 24 and under. That's all I can think about at the top of my head. LaMelo Ball, absolutely. Absolutely, LaMelo Ball. MPJ, we don't know if he made a glass yet, my man. We got to figure out what exactly the story is with him. Before we anoint him and make him a top 10 player, we got to find out if he made a glass yet. So LaMelo Ball is absolutely a top 10 player under 24. No doubt in my mind. After 6 years? Ain't that how long Joker been in the game? 6 years? I don't think so. Top 5 receivers right now: Cooper Kupp, Jefferson, Devontae, Jamar Chase, I want to say CeeDee Lamb, but I don't think so. Deebo Samuels. There you go. D-Hop been banged up the whole season, my man. Nah, he hasn't played. He hasn't played the whole season. Definitely Deebo. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. So Ozzy, who coming off that if because we talking about right now. We ain't talking about a talent standpoint. We talking about right now. Of those 5 guys that I mentioned, who coming off that list for Cheetah? So Cooper Kupp, Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Deebo Samuels. Who else did I say? Who the 5 guys did I say? I'm missing somebody. Oh, and Devontae Adams. Who's coming off that list? Deebo's going to be a first-team All-Pro. Jillian, you think Adams? You think Cheetah goes ahead of Adams? Why do you think that? Absolutely, I think Belichick outcoached Buffalo. No doubt about that. No doubt about it. I think he did. Excuse me for 1 second. Oh, okay. It's tricky with Deebo. Deebo line up in the slot. Deebo lines up out wide. You put Deebo in run packages. Deebo is a Swiss Army knife. He just do a little bit of everything. You got Deebo in your fantasy, and you probably killing him in fantasy, I'm sure. That's not being a homer. That's not being a homer, Mikhail. No way is that being a homer. Deebo gonna be first team All Pro. if I like Minnesota, I got to accept the fact Debo's going to be a first-team All-Pro this year. That's not being a homer. I just turned it on, as a matter of fact, Dylan. I literally just turned it on. The Utah-Philly game. And this game is in Philadelphia, too, which I didn't know. Hold on for a second. Which team would win the NBA championship if every player went back to the team they were drafted on? All time or today? I really wanted to see that Oklahoma City team stay together. I did. I'll be lying to you if I didn't. I thought that was going to be a battle for the ages with Oklahoma City and Miami. But this is what I mean when I talk about teams, with the NBA, how much, stuff needs to go your way, man. As great as I think LeBron James is, you don't think it helped that Derrick Rose got hurt? I still think they better than that Chicago Bulls team. But the fact that Derrick Rose got hurt, that's one less guy that I got to deal with. That's one less guy that I got to deal with. The fact that Oklahoma City basically gave James Harden to Houston for what's the guy's name from Western Carolina? I'm looking right at him, light-skinned dude. Absolutely, that helped. That's one less guy I got to deal with. That absolutely helped them. Not Jeremy Lamb, no. What is this guy's name? I'm looking right at him. Went to Western Carolina, played in Houston, and got traded to Oklahoma City. Good to see you, Nigel. Absolutely, brother. Good to see you. I'll probably be on again this weekend. Yep. Kevin Martin, that's him. That's who James Harden got traded for. Yep, Kevin Martin. And that thing didn't, they kept him for a season. That thing didn't work. So when I think about, winning the NBA championship, it's not just you being great. A lot of things have to go your way in order for you to win it, man. A lot. And those things going your way are a misfortune for somebody else. So Derrick Rose getting hurt, that set Chicago back. That absolutely set Chicago back. So that's one less team that the Miami Heat had to deal with. Trading James Harden, that was a big deal in the Western Conference for San Antonio, who had just seen them the year before in the Western Conference Championship. So, and lost. So now we don't got to deal with them. We just got to deal with these two. Chris Paul getting hurt. That's a big deal. We don't got to deal with that dude. Yeah, I am going. I am going over to TikTok after this. Yes, I am. And it's even tougher, Darrell, in the playoffs. I mean, it's even tougher in football. In football, you almost need everything to go your way. You almost need everything, because in basketball, you need this to happen for this to happen, and then for that to happen. In football, you need just about everything to go your way, man. Everything. Is Nick Chubb a top 3 running back? Let's see. Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Dalvin Cook, Eckerly. I don't know. I don't know if he's top 3. Aaron Jones. I can't believe I left Aaron Jones out. Ian, I don't know about I don't know about CMC. Mm-mm. Joe, I don't think he's better than Joe Mixon either. I don't know about CMC. We might have to start having a conversation that CMC might be made of glass. How much longer is he going to be around? This is 2 straight years that he's had season-ending injuries. How much longer is he going to be around? We might have to start having that conversation that he's made of glass. Is this and is this the same? We might have to start having that conversation about Saquon Barkley too. You think they're running him into the ground in Carolina? You think that's what the problem is? Hmm. Hmm. Ashton, why would the Wizards trade Ben Simmons for Bradley Beal? How does that make them better? Hold on. Before we go any further, I want to talk to Ashton. Ashton, why would the Wizards trade Bradley Beal for Ben Simmons? How does that make them better? I'm interested to hear this. They got defense. And you're going to trade arguably your best perimeter player, so that's going to be more subtraction, so more addition by subtraction. Hmm. That's interesting. I like the way the Heat guarded last night more than anything, and I like the way they guarded Giannis and made it tough on him. I thought that was really good. Mm-hmm. I did enjoy that. Magic over Steph Curry, Zay. No, I don't think that. I think that, and I said this, King. If he was healthy, I think if he was healthy and James was healthy, Phoenix is out in round 1. They're out. The Lakers beat them. Jillian, we just actually had this conversation. Literally, we just had. Do we need to start having a conversation that Saquon might be made of glass? Do we need to start having that conversation that Saquon Barkley might be made of glass? He tore his knee up last season, and in this season, that was a freak injury against the Cowboys when him rolling his ankle that put him out for 4 weeks. That was nuts. He's basically gone back to the huddle and stepped on one of the Cowboys players' foot and rolled his ankle. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. That was nuts. I'd never seen anything like that before, ever. Mm-hmm. But we might have to start having that conversation that, man, is Saquon made of glass? I do remember saying that. How much more time do you have to wait though with Saquon? Because we going in the year. What's this coming up year? At the end of this, because the Giants aren't going to make the playoffs. So what are we looking at? This is the 3rd year. So we're going into year 4 with Saquon. Okay, so we're going in. I'm sorry, year 5. So after this season, we're going into year 5. We need to see some dividends on this guy, yo. We do. Last season, injury riddled, didn't play. This season, missed half the season because he's hurt. Who didn't want to pay Shaq? We just talked about the receivers, Ozzy. Didn't we? And then you just told me to take what you call it up. Talk about take Chase out and put in Cheetah. Yeah, another COVID variant. This is nuts, man. Lakers didn't want to. What do you mean they wouldn't? What you mean the Lakers didn't want to play Shaq? Lakers didn't want to play Shaq when? Crazy game. And to answer your question, the Damian Lillard situation, you're going to get him ran out of Portland. All of you guys. He already made it clear that he does not want to get traded, that he wants to be a part of the solution. But you keep screaming about trade Dame for this guy, trade Dame for that guy. You're going to get him ran out of there. It's going to be because of you that he gets traded, because it's you that wants him in Philadelphia. It's you that wants him in New York. It's you that wants him in Boston, and you don't want him in Portland no more. And it's going to be you that's going to get him ran out of there. It's obvious that he already said he does not want to get traded. But you're not going to let up on this. You're not. Morris Peterson was a role player. He was solid. He was a solid role player. And when I think about a guy like Morris Peterson, I'm thinking a guy like C.J. Watson comes to mind when he played with the Raptors. Think Kelly Oubre, except more skilled. Yeah. No, I don't think there'll ever be another player like Dennis Rodman. No, that doesn't make them better, but I mean, if my team beats your team and I outplay you every time, I mean, I can't use that logic with everything. I can't say, I mean, Eli Manning, they saw the Patriots twice in the bowl game, and Eli Manning outplayed Tom Brady. Is Eli Manning a better quarterback than Tom Brady? Totally agree with. Sometimes you could be a slave to loyalty. Maybe that is Dame's situation. I think that he looks at Portland in that situation where they drafted him, they took a chance on him, and I think he feels like he has to be loyal to them because they gave him a shot in the NBA, and not realizing that, you know, that thing is falling apart around you, and it might be in your best interest to go somewhere else. But I don't think he sees it that way. Not at all. I don't think he sees it that way at all. Am I vaccinated? I don't really get into that. That's a private matter that I don't really talk too much about. And I know it's something that's simple and it's easy to just answer it, but you know, I'm one of those people that's something that I like to keep to myself. Nah, you good. No, you straight. Don't worry about it. You straight. Shaq left Los Angeles because the Lakers wanted him to take a pay cut, and he was like, I'm not doing that. No. And the thing with him and Kobe, had reached its boiling point, where now there was a situation where the Lakers were going to have to choose because Kobe Bryant's contract was coming up. So the Lakers were going to have to choose between the two of them, between him and Shaq. And trading Shaquille made the choice easier for Bryant, because now that means that they're going to build it around me. Mm-hmm. It depends on the situation, Keyshawn. If I'm in the NBA and I'm in a great situation, there's no reason to leave. But it's like any job where you get to a point where this job has run its course and now it's time to move on. Maybe 10 years in Portland, maybe your time, maybe your stint in Portland has run its course and it's time to move on. Maybe that is the case. Giannis already said that, in 2 years he might be somewhere else. Because in 2 years, Giannis will have been in Milwaukee for 10 years, 11 years. So at that point, all right, now you might have guys who don't want to move, who don't want to leave. So you have to accept the fact that there are times when things have just run their course and you have to move on. You have to move on. You can't stay stagnant. You have to move on. And this may be one of those instances. Any player that leaves a sour taste in your mouth. KD, even to this day, KD jumping on that Warriors team. I hated that, man. I thought that was so suckerish for him to do that. I thought that was so suckerish for him to do that. But I understood it though. And the reason why, and the reason why I understood it was because the reason why I understood it was because, I don't just play basketball, right? I don't just play basketball. I don't want to live in Oklahoma City no more. It ain't just about, I don't think I can win with Russ. I don't want to live in Oklahoma City no more. Right now, while I'm talking to you guys, there's a chick that's dumping her dude. Her and this dude are over. And they ain't over for no other reason. He ain't cheating on her. She ain't cheating on him. He ain't smacking her around. She ain't doing nothing foul. They breaking up for one reason and one reason only. I ain't feeling you no more. I'm just not feeling you no more. There's a dude that's typing up his resume right now while I'm talking to you. And he is looking for a new job for one reason and one reason only. I don't want to live in Minneapolis no more. I don't want to live here no more. So I can appreciate it from that aspect. But for him to go to the Warriors after they lost to them, that was so suckerish for him to do that, man. Oh, man, I did turn my nose up to that. I turned my nose up to him for that. I didn't appreciate that at all. I don't think so, Jillian. I think he stays in Green Bay. And the reason why I think he stays in Green Bay is because they're going to continue to build that thing around him. And I think Aaron Rodgers got another year, maybe 2 years left in him at an elite level. We're talking about a dude that's 38 years old. So it ain't like he's in a situation where, he got 5 or 6 more years. I don't think he's not going to play as long as Brady played. I don't think so. I'm not from Florida. I just live down here. That's all. And to answer your question, Random, do I like U.S. history? That's what my degree is in college. I studied history in college. I'm a huge fan of history. I am a student of history. So that is my forte. I am a history buff. One of the biggest flexes that I have, and I don't have a lot of flexes because I ain't that way, but one of the biggest flexes that I have, I've been to the Natural Museum of History in New York City. I've been to the Met, which is on the campus of Yale. I've been to the Natural Museum of History in Utah, in Salt Lake City. There's one more that I'm trying to get to before I go. But before they put me in a box, there's one in San Francisco that I'd like to see before I die. So, absolutely. I got my bachelor's of science when I was in college. I played Division I basketball, and in the process of that was the trade-off. You know, you play basketball, I got to go to school, and in the process of me going to school, I earned a degree in history. Yes, sir. That's what I did. So, all right, guys, it's about that time for me to shake the spot. It's always good to see you guys, and I'm gonna try to get on this weekend, but if not, then definitely next week we'll get right back after it. I hope to see you guys here, and we'll do it again. For those of you, I will be taking my show over to TikTok, and I'll be over there in like another half an hour or so. And I'm gonna stay on TikTok for about the same time as I do here. I'm not gonna be on there all night, but I can stick on there for another hour or so. But absolutely, man, good to see you guys. And as y'all know, I only do this because you guys are here. If y'all ain't here, I ain't doing it. Ain't no reason for me to do it. So until then, take it light, but take it.